Hello, friends, and a very happy 2021 to you all. I hope that this year brings you blessings beyond belief and way, way, way better than last year. Even if you had a good year last year, I hope that this year is even better. Welcome to our live streaming Sunday services. We are on Facebook and YouTube, where you can subscribe to get notifications when we go live. And we're also on Zoom. If you're here with us, welcome, and drop a hello in the chat. We'd love to talk to you. If you are here on Zoom, consider staying afterwards for talkback, when we hang out with each other and just chit chat and connect and talk about the service, and just connect in community. Scott is going to have my head for these bells, but I think they're really cute. Anyway, today's sermon is Widening the Circle of Concern with Beth Ferree. Very excited. I always love Beth's stuff. She's president for a reason, right? All right. Thought I'd give you a happy little update this week. Kitty has found a home. Thank you to Barbara for opening your heart and your home to that sweet baby. I hope that y'all are very happy together. But by what I hear, you can't not love that kitten. So, yay. All right. We are not doing Workday Wednesday this week. Got another week off. We'll resume those very soon. All right. Oh, for those who are missing their UUCOC family and want more opportunities to just hang out, Deneen is leading a group for social connection and conversation twice a week. That's Tuesdays at 9, Fridays at 7 p.m. So it's a fun little hangout. Come do that. Speaking of Deneen, if you are in need of some pastoral care or counseling, contact her at pastoralcare@oakcliffuu.org. If you volunteer your time or your talent to anything, please be sure to report those hours on Breeze so that we can turn the hours into money for the church. In addition to turning hours into money for church, you can support us by going to oakcliffuu.org/donate. Use Amazon Smile. If you're using Amazon, this is a new feature. They finally have it on your phone. I'm more likely to use my phone. I've had to switch to the computer to order things through Smile. And now you can upgrade your Amazon app if you use it on the phone. And so now I'm really excited because I can use my phone to do Smile. And so it guarantees that all of my transactions are going to help the church. I don't even want to tell you what the total was after Christmas when it came up with, you help support your church with this much money. I'm like, oh, that was an expensive Christmas. Anyway, you can use iGive if you are shopping anywhere else online. And these aren't just for gifts. This is if you're just shopping online, which many of us are doing. We have the text to give option and our Facebook donate button. If you are new here, welcome. We would love to hear from you. Go sign the guest book at oakcliffuu.org/guest. Finally, there are no member anniversaries this week, but there will be some fun ones coming up, I am sure. Thank you so much to everybody for helping get us through this last year. I miss my church family so very much. I'm sure that all of you do too. Just thank you all for being a big part of this. Thank you all for supporting us and supporting each other and being there. And I wish you all the best, as I said earlier, and I mean it genuinely with all my heart. I hope that all of you have a wonderful, magical, amazing 2021. Happy Sunday.
Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Oak Cliff. Thank you for having the curiosity and courage to join us. We welcome you, whoever you are, whatever spiritual tradition, whatever gender, age, race, sexual orientation, or background you may bring to our community. We hope you find here comfort, challenge, community, respect, and above all, love.
May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, Spirit of love, compassion, and forgiveness.
Que esta luz que ahora encendemos nos inspire a usar nuestros dones y poderes para sanar y no para herir, para ayudar y no para impedir, para bendecir y no para maldecir, para servirte a ti, espíritu de amor, compasión y perdón.
When the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are home, and when the shepherds are back with their flock, the work of Christmas begins. To find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among the people, and to make music in the heart.
Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom. Circle round for peace. For all of us imprisoned. Circle for release. Circle for the planet. Circle for each soul. For the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom. Circle round for peace. For all of us imprisoned. Circle for release. Circle for the planet. Circle for each soul. For the children of our children. Keep the circle whole.
Because we love one another, we honor each other's individual spiritual journey, we celebrate life's abundance and service to each other, our community, and the world. We connect with each other in love, respect, and acceptance. Thus do we covenant together. And now in Spanish. Porque nos amamos unos al otro, oramos el viaje espiritual de cada individuo. Celebramos la abundancia de la vida en el servicio a entre sí, nuestra comunidad y el mundo. Ponemos en contacto a unos con otros en el amor, respeto y aceptación. Así que hacemos pacto.
You are not alone with your sorrow, just as I am not alone with mine. Our covenant of right relations makes this so. You and I are bound by our promise to commune. In community, the burden of a heavy heart is shared. A burden shared is a burden lightened. At this time, we invite you to publicly post your sorrows and prayer requests to the Zoom chat or to send them to our Facebook Messenger.
When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
This Sunday, like every Sunday, we reaffirm our promise to one another. Our promise makes clear the call to celebrate. For that which brings you joy, makes you grateful, brings you peace. We, your sacred community, celebrate. We celebrate together and magnify joy, heighten gratitude, and spread ever-increasing peace. At this time, we invite you to publicly post your joys and prayer requests to the Zoom chat or send them to our Facebook Messenger.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart of the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
We have seen ministers of color join us in the past few decades, but did you know that the first one came to us more than 100 years ago? Egbert Ethelred Brown, who went by Ethelred, was born in Jamaica in 1875 to a prominent Episcopal family. He was an accountant by profession, but also a preacher, a lay preacher, and organist in the Methodist Church, and started his conversion on Easter Sunday after he was struck by the strangeness of the Trinitarian arithmetic, because you had 3 and 1 and 1 and 3, and it was just an impossible proposition. He discovered Unitarianism and decided to enroll in seminary. So he wrote to Meadville Seminary in Pennsylvania. They accepted him, but his application, but didn't do much else because they didn't really expect him to show up. He surprised them. It took 2 years to get through customs, and he was turned back the first time, and he had to work a year to save up for the return trip, especially because his father had taken back a gift of travel money. He started seminary in 1910 at the age of 35. Again, Meadville was a little lost with him, what to do with him. But he did graduate and was ordained in 1912, and for 8 years tried to start a church in Jamaica with almost no help from the American Unitarian Association, because they thought people of color, people in Jamaica, would not be interested in Unitarianism. Yeah. He lost his job in 1920 as an accountant, so he moved to New York City, where he started his own congregation, the Harlem Unitarian Church. Again, he got minimal and sporadic support from the AUA with no solicitation. He was not allowed to solicit money from other churches. So he worked odd jobs to support himself, including 6 years as an elevator operator. He did receive a small pension from the AUA at the age of 65 and worked another 15 years before he retired in his church pulpit. His is an unusual legacy. A minister, he also worked continuously for justice, for equal pay for laborers, and independence for Jamaica, mixing politics and religion. He responded to Karl Marx, "Religion is not an opiate, but a stimulant, an incentive to noble deeds, and a sustaining power in the hour of crisis." So as we look at his legacy, I ask, what are you called to do? What sacrifices do you make, and what do you believe in and work for, even though that organization opposes you? Let us treasure his legacy.
As we step away from the holidays and the crazy year that was 2020 to deal with the lingering effects of a worldwide pandemic, one thing becomes increasingly clear to all of us. We must change. We cannot return to the life we lived before this huge global shift in consciousness, because that life simply no longer exists. It really doesn't matter what you believe as far as why it happened. I may believe this is all a part of a huge spiritual awakening and a decision of mass consciousness. You may believe it's simply a fluke in the timeline or a part of history repeating itself. Regardless, here we are, and we need to make the best of what is presented to us. We lost a lot of people we love, but we are still here, and there's work to be done. Before us stretches another year with the opportunity to refocus our goals, to decide what is enormously important to us personally, locally, and globally. Given all that has happened over the past year, we cannot take a step forward with the assumption that we are simply resuming our journey, for somewhere along the line, the map was rewritten. Of course, free will does give us options. We could certainly decide to move forward as though nothing changed, but operating in denial results in a sort of insanity where we continue trying the same thing, expecting different results, and the world around us would move forward without us. We must adjust to a new normal. It's not a bad thing, but it will take a concerted effort on everyone's part. We must come to terms with change. The UUA started creating what is now the Circle of Concern report back in 2017, after young people started demanding change, Whole cultures and races were being displaced in an atmosphere where the organization structure was so complicated and biased, it simply wasn't accessible. The cost to become a UU minister, as well as the expectations placed on them, ensured only upper and middle class white people were able to complete the training. Even then, it became a battleground for Black ministers to retain their position. Finally, the necessary conversations began to take place. These proposed changes give UUCOC an opportunity to change our own policies and ask where we can do better. Not because we need to conform to UUA standards, but because we can have a voice in changing UUA standards. This is an opportunity small congregation to create a beloved community right on our grounds that will create such reverberation. Our voices can be heard as far away as Boston. For so long, many of our congregants have felt largely disenfranchised from the UUA because we are currently one of the most diverse congregations in the nation already, but we're small. And our congregants don't fit the mold that we've been expected to fit in for many years. Perhaps it is no mere coincidence that this incredible opportunity has been brought to us on the year we have our 60th anniversary. Perhaps it's also no mere coincidence that we are presented this opportunity at the end of one of the biggest plagues in history either. Perhaps synchronicity. Throughout history, whenever there's been a plague, it's been followed by a period of intense creative change that results in huge world-changing inventions and dynamic social shifts. At the end of the bubonic plague was a renaissance, new medical discoveries, and a surging economy. After the 1918 flu finally passed, the roaring 20s came in with new freedoms that replaced the restricted Victorian sensibilities. Both times saw a surge in hope, art, and creativity that affects the way we view the world today. Each started with a small idea, a thirst for change, and a belief that something better lay ahead. And so it will be this time, once we are able to gather again. There is a deal of work for us to do as a congregation. We need to examine our covenant, our mission, and our expectations for the future we wish to create. In the process, we must ask ourselves some difficult questions that require deep conversation and personal evaluation. What do we want our church to be in the future? How are we going to welcome in more members of the Black, Indigenous, and Latino communities and make them an integral part of our family? Perhaps, as was discussed in the talk back on December 16th, one of the biggest questions we need to ask is, what community are we attempting to become? Do we want to be more integral in the immediate Oak Cliff community and focus on being a chosen family? Or do we want to reach out further? This summer, we will be hosting a summer camp based on social justice issues with the help of the Dallas Peace and Justice Center. In this process, we will also be inviting the other UU churches in our cluster to participate. Once the quarantine is over, we are planning to bring in at-risk kids from the community to our campus for other opportunities, such as OWL. We have the Veggie Store project on our grounds, which presents us with an incredible opportunity to bring in those involved in the work, as well as those who come to collect a bag each month. Are we going to find ways to integrate these families into the church, or are we going to act primarily as hosts for these events? Well, both are certainly legitimate ways for outreach. We need to decide how we will focus that outreach. We have unlimited opportunities for growth already at our doorstep, simply waiting to be invited in. What will our invitation to them look like? This is also true for the Shambhala group on our campus. How many people come to our campus without ever experiencing the awesomeness that is our church? One of the things we learned while canvassing the neighborhood for the housing project was that we have an incredible amount of support for it. They would like to see us have a community right here on our grounds rather than wait for developers to move in. They have also been huge supporters of our other events. Yet we never seem to see these neighbors attending any services. We need to find ways in which to create better marketing. Yeah. But we also need to be willing to go out and personally invite them to a service. We tend to sell ourselves at the risk of appearing to evangelize. Let's face it, evangelizing has gotten a bad rap. We're selling compassion and inclusion, not hell and exclusion. I see a bumper sticker there. When it all boils down to it, our primary goals can be summed up in 2 words: compassion and communication. We join with others and take on their pain, joys, hopes, and fears so we can all commune together and learn from one another. We bring in different cultures to our services and news stories to our hearts. We give them voice because when we fail to allow others to tell their stories, we are denying ourselves the opportunity to grow and become who we are meant to be. This won't come without some conflict, our struggle, and the occasional failure. It requires honesty and the ability to listen without judgment. It also asks us that we not back down from conflict, but have the courage to deal with it head on. Pretending it's not there is no longer an option. But if we stay in covenant and face it with love, we've got this. I believe in you. We will bring you a proposal on January 17th and give you all an opportunity to weigh in on whether you wish to pursue the hard work of integration by formally working on the Circle of Concern materials. This is a long-term commitment and will mean changes at every level of our church. Over the next couple of weeks, we will be discussing it more here and in Talkback. I look forward to hearing your thoughts and questions. Thank you so much for joining me today.
We would be one as now we join in singing our hymn of love to pledge ourselves anew to that high cause of greater understanding of who we are and what in us is true. We would be one in living for each other to show to all a new community. We would be one in building for tomorrow a nobler world than we have known today. We would be one in searching for that meaning which binds our hearts and points us on our way. As one we pledge ourselves to greater service with love and justice strive to make us free.
Let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place which is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and hope. For we are now the keepers of the dream. To make an offering or your pledge, please go to oakcliffuu.org/donate and follow the links.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. De ti yo recibo, a ti te doy. Así compartimos y vivimos hoy. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. De ti yo recibo, a ti te doy. Así compartimos y vivimos hoy.
I send you out now to share yourself with the world. May its promise and complexity set your mind ablaze. May you hold fast to what your life has taught you. May you question everything. And when you have changed the world, and the world has changed you, may you return again to this place and share what you have learned with us.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón hasta que estemos juntos otra vez.
Come and go.